Surely you've heard that drinking a glass of water in the morning on an empty stomach is good for your health. However, if you drink water the way you normally do, you are almost always drinking and eating bacteria and making at least 10 mistakes that can lead to cancer of the larynx, bladder, esophagus and colon, liver, developing osteosarcoma, a rare type of bone cancer, breast cancer and prostate cancer. We ourselves were shocked by the information we learned in preparing this video. At the end of the video, we'll give you some tips on how to properly drink water first thing in the morning to maximize the benefits and protect yourself from cancer and other diseases. And if you follow these simple recommendations of ours, you can experience the miracle of a glass of water, the best remedy that is simple and costs nothing. Try drinking water this way for a week, and you will see the real miracle. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, click like and let's get started. Today's topic is water, specifically a glass of water that you drink in the morning on an empty stomach. You've probably heard that drinking a glass of water in the morning is good for your health, right? Our body is made up of 70% water, so water is one of the most important substances for building the body and sustaining life. If our body loses just 5% of water, we become disoriented, and losing 12% can be fatal. Moreover, water plays a very important role in our body. When it is hot, we sweat to regulate body temperature. Water helps excrete waste, stimulates metabolism, improves circulation, regulates sodium levels, and even removes toxins from the body. It has amazing benefits. In addition, water is consumed in the morning through sweat and metabolic processes, which leads to dehydration. As a result, the blood clots and becomes sticky, increasing its viscosity. Drinking water in this condition helps to reduce blood viscosity and reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes. So it's important to always stay hydrated, but drinking a glass of water in the morning is especially helpful. Be warned, however, even such beneficial morning water should not be consumed without making certain mistakes. Here are 10 mistakes that may be linked to an increased risk of developing cancer. Let's take a closer look at them. Number 1. Drinking cold water. Drinking cold water doesn't cause cancer per se, but it can exacerbate existing digestive system problems such as gastritis, which can lead to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation, in turn, is associated with an increased risk of stomach cancer. Number 2. Use water with impurities. Water contaminated with toxic substances such as heavy metals, for example, lead, mercury, pesticides, or other carcinogens, can increase your risk of developing various cancers, including stomach, colon, and liver cancer. Prolonged consumption of contaminated water is especially dangerous to your health. Number 3. Mixing water with other beverages. Adding sugar to water or drinking sugary drinks in the morning can contribute to obesity and diabetes, which has been linked to an increased risk of various cancers, including pancreatic, liver, and breast cancer. Excessive consumption of coffee or tea can also increase the risk of bladder and esophageal cancer due to the potentially harmful substances they contain, if over or undercooked. Number 4. Using water with additives, such as lemon. While adding lemon to water can be beneficial for most people, it can cause irritation to the gastric mucosa in some people, especially if they already have gastritis or ulcers. Chronic irritation and inflammation of the gastric mucosa can contribute to gastric cancer. Number 5. Lack of regularity and ignoring the needs of the body. Not drinking enough water can lead to chronic dehydration, which can impair kidney and bladder function. Chronic dehydration is associated with an increased risk of bladder cancer. Number 6. Using plastic bottles. Drinking water from plastic bottles, especially if they are heated or stored for long periods of time, can be dangerous due to the release of bisphenol A, BPA, and other chemicals that can act as endocrine disruptors. Prolonged exposure to BPA has been linked to an increased risk of breast and prostate cancer. Number 7. Improper water storage. Storing water in inappropriate conditions, such as dirty containers or places prone to contamination, can lead to the growth of bacteria and other microorganisms. Some of these can produce toxins that, with prolonged exposure, can increase the risk of various diseases, including cancer. Number 8. Drinking water with high chlorine content. In some areas, tap water contains high levels of chlorine, which is used for disinfection. Chlorine and its byproducts, such as trihalomethanes, have been linked to an increased risk of bladder and colon cancer when consumed over a long period of time. Number 9. Drinking water high in fluoride. High levels of fluoride in drinking water, while helpful in preventing tooth decay, can, when consumed in excess, increase the risk of osteosarcoma, a rare type of bone cancer, and other health problems. Number 10. Consuming water that is too hot. Drinking water that is too hot can damage the esophageal mucosa and increase the risk of esophageal cancer. This is especially true when combined with other risk factors such as smoking and alcohol consumption. All of these factors, to varying degrees, can contribute to conditions that increase the risk of developing various cancers. To minimize your risk, it is important to exercise caution and follow certain rules. So, here are the important rules to follow when drinking water in the morning. First of all, you need to rinse your mouth before drinking it. This is very important because your mouth is full of bacteria in the morning. If you drink water without rinsing your mouth, you are actually drinking or eating bacteria. Even if you brush your teeth before bed, metabolic processes overnight fill your mouth with bacteria. In addition, the warm and moist environment in your mouth overnight creates the perfect conditions for bacteria to grow. So what is the proper way to drink a glass of water on an empty stomach, right after waking up in the morning? Rinse your mouth with water before drinking. You don't need to brush your teeth. Just rinse your mouth with water a few times. This simple process effectively removes most of the bacteria that has multiplied in your mouth overnight. Important to note, some people rinse their mouth with mouthwash instead of brushing their teeth in the morning. However, it is not recommended to use mouthwash early in the morning, as your mouth tends to dry out overnight, and the mouthwash can stick to the mucous membranes. Therefore, before drinking a glass of water in the morning on an empty stomach, just rinse your mouth with water, not something else, but water specifically. If rinsing seems too much of a hassle for you, even just spitting saliva after waking up can be very effective. Second, drink warm water. Avoid hot or cold water in the morning on an empty stomach. Warm, non-carbonated water is the best choice when you wake up in the morning. Some people drink a large glass of cold water to refresh themselves and quench their thirst, and some people even drink cold carbonated water in the morning to wake up. From now on, never do this. Drinking cold water and even carbonated water in the morning on an empty stomach stimulates the autonomic nervous system, which can shock the heart. Instead of improving blood flow, it can hinder it and cause heart rhythm irregularities such as arrhythmias. Also, have you ever felt a sharp pain in your teeth when you eat cold ice cream or sorbet? Cold water can also cause a similar sensation. When something drastically hot or cold touches your teeth, it causes significant stress to your teeth and gums. Therefore, drinking cold water can cause the enamel and dentin to expand, which can lead to cracked teeth. This is why many doctors recommend rinsing your mouth with warm water when brushing your teeth. One of the 5 helpful tips is to rinse your mouth with warm water in the morning. The ideal temperature is about 85 degrees F, which is about 30 degrees C, just below body temperature. Also, drinking cold or hot water requires energy expenditure to maintain body temperature, which reduces your morning energy. As we age, basal metabolism decreases. Drinking cold water can excessively lower your body temperature, reduce blood flow to the stomach, and decrease the secretion of digestive enzymes. Therefore, to improve circulation, metabolism, and energy utilization, it is imperative to drink warm, especially non-carbonated water in the morning. Now, the last but not least 3rd step, drink water slowly in the morning on an empty stomach. Some people drink water quickly because they feel thirsty due to excessive water loss through sweating or breathing during the night. However, this can be very dangerous, so you should drink water very slowly in the morning. If you have high blood pressure and a history of brain damage such as aneurysms or hemorrhages, drinking water quickly can be very dangerous. This is because a sudden increase in blood flow to the brain or heart can cause blood vessels to rupture, causing serious problems. In addition, a sudden increase in the amount of fluid in the body can cause severe headaches. Rapidly consuming large amounts of water reduces the salt concentration in cells and increases the water concentration. As a result, cells can swell, and if brain cells swell, this increases the pressure inside the skull, leading to headaches and difficulty breathing. Electrolyte levels can also drop, causing muscle cramps and a feeling of imbalance in the body. Therefore, to avoid harming yourself, water should be drunk slowly for about 5 minutes. These days, there is a growing interest in gut health, as it is believed that a healthy gut leads to brain health and mental well-being, reducing the risk of dementia. Indeed, the gut is so important that it has been called the second brain. It contains 70% of immune cells and produces various hormones. Therefore, gut health is crucial to the overall well-being of our body. Another interesting fact you may not have known: 90% of the happiness hormone serotonin is released in the gut, making it especially important. Drinking a glass of water in the morning on an empty stomach is one of the best habits for gut health. This stimulates the gastrocolic reflex, which promotes defecation and increases the effectiveness of medications such as probiotics. You may have many questions, such as how much water you should consume for health. Some recommend drinking several liters a day or 4 glasses in the morning. I'll let you in on a secret. The amount doesn't matter. Just drink water in moderation when you feel thirsty. That's enough. But here's an important point. Drinking too much water can be dangerous, especially for people with weakened kidneys or those on dialysis, because it can cause swelling and breathing difficulties due to fluid accumulation. For diabetics, drinking plenty of water can cause a feeling of satiety and reduce appetite, which can lead to lower blood sugar levels. Also, people with acid reflux or a weak stomach may feel worse because excess water can cause the valve between the stomach and esophagus to open frequently. Therefore, it is best to drink water in moderation, no more than 1 glass at a time. Now that we've learned the 10 mistakes, 3 important precautions to drink a glass of water in the morning for optimal health, it's time to summarize. When you wake up, you should rinse your mouth with water and then slowly drink warm water with the information you've learned in mind. Hopefully, you will make a healthy habit of drinking a glass of water in the morning on an empty stomach by following our tips to stay healthy. What do you think about this? Do you agree with these statements? If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. More information on this topic can be found at the links in the description below this video and on our channel.
Subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications. Please like and share this video with your friends. Thanks to our sponsors for their support. I eagerly await your comments and encourage you to watch these useful videos.